everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Recently, me, my husband, and my parents went on Disney's Keys to the Kingdom tour. So I thought today I would sit down and kind of tell you guys a little bit about it, talk about what we did while we were on the tour, as well as share with you my personal thoughts and opinions. I booked this tour 4 months in advance for all 4 of us. My husband and I actually gifted this tour to my parents as part of their Christmas gift this past year. So when I called over there, they said 4 months in advance is when they recommend that people book this tour because it does fill up pretty quickly. You do have to book this tour over the phone. I will actually go ahead and link the Keys to the Kingdom webpage down in the description box below, as well as that phone number. That way you guys can find it easily. So I called over there and we decided to book for a Saturday in February. I definitely recommend doing this tour in the cooler months of the year because you do spend a lot of time in the direct sunlight, and I feel like if you go in the summertime when it's mid to upper 90s, you're going to be miserable because it's just going to be super hot and you don't really have a chance to kind of escape and get in the AC and cool down. So definitely recommend checking it out in the cooler months. That is why I chose to do it in February. Of course, I wanted to be close to Christmas because it was a Christmas gift, but I really did it because I didn't want anyone to be super hot and miserable. So definitely recommend doing that. They have a bunch of different time slots to choose from. We decided to go with the latest time slot, which is 9:30 in the morning. None of us are really morning people, so 9:30 a.m. was plenty early enough for us. This tour does last 5 hours and there is a break in between for lunch. The day of our tour, we arrived at Magic Kingdom at 9:15 a.m. They do ask that you arrive 15 minutes early. That way you can get checked in and get settled before the tour begins. When you enter into Magic Kingdom, you're gonna head over to your right-hand side. You're gonna go into Town Square, and that is where you check in. When you arrive, they will give you a name tag. This just says Disney's Keys to the Kingdom. Of course, it has your name on it, and then it has Cinderella's castle as well as Minnie and Mickey on either side. You do wear this during the tour, and of course, once the tour is over, you get to keep it. When they give you this little name tag, they will also give you a pouch that goes around your neck. And inside that pouch is an earpiece. You put that earpiece on when your tour begins. Your tour guide talks into a microphone. That microphone goes into the earpiece. So that way, no matter where the tour guide is, you can constantly hear what they're saying, and you can control the volume. You can turn the earpiece up or down. So you can always hear them, which was amazing. It worked out so well. I cannot tell you how many tours I have been on where you cannot hear what they're saying unless you are directly next to them. So I think any place that does tours needs to get this earpiece system working because it worked out wonderful. So they give you those 2 things. Once they give you those, they will hand you a menu and you get to choose what you want for lunch. It was a bunch of different quick service items. I ordered a grilled chicken Caesar salad. I think that they had a hot dog and a chili dog from Casey's Corner. I think they had a chicken sandwich. They had chicken nuggets or chicken strips. So you choose what you want to eat, and then you also choose a drink. They provide you with bottles of either soda or water. You can also choose Powerade. So I picked a Sprite with the grilled chicken Caesar salad. It was pretty good. But anyway, so you pick what you want to eat. Once you do that, you just kind of, wait around for your tour guide to come over. So our tour guide, Jordan, arrived. He introduced himself. We talked a little bit. Then we made our way outside of Town Square, and then we all introduced ourselves, and we told him what our favorite Disney character was, and he told us a little bit about the history of where we were. And then we walked over to Main Street. We got over to the very beginning of Main Street. We talked a little bit about the castle. He told us about the different buildings on Main Street and about the windows and what the different names in the windows meant. Then we walked a little bit further down Main Street. About halfway, we went over to this little nook, and he talked about Main Street a little bit more and the buildings and how they were built and things like that. I don't want to give you guys details about what he said because I really want you guys to go on this tour and experience it for yourself. It was amazing. I learned so much. I could never even tell you everything that Jordan said because it was just so much information. I feel like I need to go on this tour a couple more times just so I can kind of soak it all in. So I don't want to tell you too much, but I just kind of want to talk to you guys about how the tour ran. So once we were done with Main Street, we walked over to the hub area and we talked a little bit, probably like 10 minutes in the hub grass area. Once we were done there, we made our way over to Adventureland, and then we got to ride the Jungle Cruise, which was so fun. It was probably one of my favorite parts of the entire tour. We get on the Jungle Cruise boat. I do not really like the Jungle Cruise, the ride. I just think it's super corny, and you go on it once and you really don't need to go on it again. That's how I feel. I'm not a huge fan of the Jungle Cruise. So I was like, oh, this is the ride we're going on. Like, this is not gonna be fun. But it was so cool because instead of the actual cast member who drives the boat talking, Jordan, our tour guide, talked to us, and instead of like doing the actual ride, he talked to us about the behind the scenes things about the Jungle Cruise, like the different ways they use the animatronics and just different little things that you wouldn't know, those behind the scene things about the Jungle Cruise. So that was really cool. I think the next time I ride it, I'll definitely have a different mindset going into it, but it was really cool. So I really liked that part. Once we got off the Jungle Cruise, we made a pit stop at the bathrooms. So we took a bathroom break. Once everyone was done, we made our way to our first backstage area, which was so cool. It was in between the Pirates of the Caribbean ride and Splash Mountain. If you guys are ever walking in that area, I'm sure you've noticed a big gate. That gate actually opens up and that's where they start the parade route. And so we got to go behind that gate and we got to learn more about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride as well as the Splash Mountain ride. And of course, because that's where the parade route starts, that's where they hold all of the parade floats. It was so cool. So we were very lucky that we went close to Christmas because they still had the Christmas floats out and they were working on them, so we got to see those. Then after we were done checking those out, we made our way to another building that held the Festival of Fantasy parade floats. It was so cool. Of course, you don't get to walk around the building and check them out super close, but there was a couple that were really close to us that we got to stand right next to, and I felt so tiny next to those things. They're huge. Of course, when you see them in the parade, you think that they're massive, but when you stand right next to them, they are so big. So we kind of stood in this general area inside the building and our tour guide told us more about the floats and how they were designed and some of the safety features. People were asking questions and we learned a lot about the parade and the floats and how it ran, and so that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that as well. So once we were done with that, we made our way back out and it was time for lunch. So that was like the halfway point then. We went over to Tomorrowland Terrace. I think there's a couple different places that they host lunch on this tour, but we went over to Tomorrowland Terrace. It was cool because they had the whole thing blocked off just for us. They had all of our food and drinks out ready and waiting for us. And they had everyone's party sit together, so the four of us got to sit at one table, so it's definitely not like awkward. You're not sitting with random people you don't know. You get to sit with your party, and then you know it's your table because they have these little placeholders, and it matches the name tag that they give you, and it has your name on it, and this one says David because it's my husband's, but this goes right in front of your food, and then when you open up, inside is a pin. So there's a Mickey head with the castle in it. It says Disney's Keys to the Kingdom on it. And they tell you that now you have your very own key to the kingdom. And I just think that this is such a cool souvenir. I was so happy to have my own. So they gave us about 30 minutes to eat for lunch. Once we were done, we made our way over to Liberty Tree Square. We stopped over by the tree and talked about the tree and the bell and kind of more about the history and all of that. Then we made our way over to Haunted Mansion and we talked a lot about the Haunted Mansion and we talked about some of the hidden Mickeys that are in the Haunted Mansion, things like that. Then we actually got to ride the Haunted Mansion, which is really cool because you don't wait in the line. They take you in this different entrance, so you're getting to see some things that you've never seen before because you're going in a different way. And so we get to go into the ride and you're just riding the ride like normal. They're not really telling you anything about it. That's why you stop and talk about it beforehand, because the tour guide wants you to enjoy the ride and kind of think about those little things that he says beforehand. So we got to ride the ride. That was really cool. We all came out and talked more about it, asked any questions that we had. And then we made our way out to the Tangled bathrooms and we stopped for another bathroom break. And then after that, we went into the Utilidors. It was the coolest thing ever. The Utilidors is underground Magic Kingdom. So if you guys don't know, Magic Kingdom is actually built on the second story. So it's not ground level. The castle and all that, none of that's ground level. They actually have like a whole working system underneath the castle. So when you're in Magic Kingdom, you're actually on the second floor. So we went over, I forget where it was. I think it was by Mickey's PhilharMagic. There's a little gift shop there and there's a door there that goes down under to the Utilidor. So we went down there and he talked all about the Utilidor while we were in there. He told us all kinds of Disney history about Walt, history about Roy. They had all of the pins from all the years, like the pins that you trade. They had them all over the walls. There's people walking around there that you get to see. It was really, really cool. It was definitely the coolest experience for sure, because I've been a Disney fan for so long and I've heard about the Utilidors, but I've never been in there. So being there and walking around was super cool. If you guys have ever been a cast member, you're probably like, it's not that cool, but it was really cool. it was really cool hearing about the history and things like that. So I love that. So we walked quite a while. I think it was like a whole hour was just dedicated to the Utilidors. So we walked around there, and then we came out at the very start of Main Street USA. Couldn't think of the name. So we came out in Main Street USA, and that was the end of our tour. We talked to our tour guide, we handed back our earpiece and all of that. It was such a cool experience, you guys. If you ever get the chance to go on Disney's Keys of the Kingdom tour, definitely do it. If you are a Disney fan, you're gonna love it because you learned so much. And I feel like I knew a lot because I've read books, I've watched documentaries, I've done a lot of Google research, and I felt like I was gonna know everything, but there is so much more that I learned. And seeing everything up close and personal, it was so cool. I definitely don't feel like it ruined any of the magic for me. If anything, it made me appreciate it even more because there's so much that goes into it. So I just thought it was really, really cool. I want to go on it again. I loved it that much. Our tour guide was so knowledgeable. Anytime anyone asked him a question, he always knew the answer, which I thought was so crazy. He was the best. I really enjoyed him. Yeah, so it was just a lot of fun. I'm glad that we finally got to go on it. There is an age limit for this tour. You have to be 16 or older because they don't want to ruin the magic for little kids. So that is why it's taken us so long to go on it. My dad's been talking about going on this tour for so long, and it was always, well, when the kids get older, we'll go on it. And then, you know, every year it's like, well, maybe next year, maybe next year. So finally I was like, we're doing this tour. We're going for Christmas as your Christmas gift. It's gonna be so fun. So I'm really glad that I got to experience it with my husband and my parents. Like I said, I really enjoy it, and I definitely recommend it to any and everyone. Even if you've been to Disney a million times, go on this tour. It was so cool. You will not regret it. It definitely made me want to go on more Disney tours in the future. So I'm hoping to do that, especially now that I'm an annual pass holder. It'll be a little bit easier. If you guys are annual pass holders, you do get a discount on this tour, which is really awesome. So check into that. So that is my overview and review for Disney's Keys to the Kingdom tour. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions for me at all, definitely go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.